What's up? It's been a while, and by a while I mean about a week. I didn't put out a video last week because I'm sure you're looking around and thinking, what the hell is going on behind you? I have not been robbed. I am not actively robbing someone. I actually just moved, and what you're seeing behind me is a set of to-do tasks, unboxing and unpacking everything. It's been pretty chaotic. I moved about a week ago and I'm still haven't got around to unpacking my personal stuff. I've been focusing on the rest of the apartment, building furniture, which I'm fully done with. I used to be one of those people who's like, I love building furniture. And then I had like one too many furniture building experiences. And the last one I had, which was this console that you can't see next to me that is housing my video game stuff currently. And it was the worst experience I had. It was awful. It's a very expensive console, relatively speaking. It's not IKEA, so it's not dirt cheap, but it's a little more. But the instructions were a catastrophe. Like, they were so bad that I was getting super mad. But anyway, I still haven't unpacked most of my stuff. I don't have my consoles plugged in, my gaming PC is not plugged in, none of my lights are in. As you can see, I'm not standing in front of a selection of nice artwork, which means my artwork is just piled up somewhere. But yeah, I'm in a very non-gamer state right now, non-gaming capable state. So nothing really in terms of like what I've been playing to talk about, but I do want to talk about something interesting that happened at the time of recording. On the day of recording, CD Projekt announced The Witcher 3 Songs of the Past, a DLC for The Witcher 3, which came out 11 years ago. I was kind of caught off guard by how long it's been. Not because it's like, wow, time has passed. Good Lord, my back hurts now, I'm old. I remember the good old days. No, it's actually because it doesn't feel old. I think there's just a handful of games that you can call truly timeless. And amongst those games, I would think Witcher is one of the better timeless games. The one I think of it most, or I compare it most to, is Bethesda's Skyrim. Skyrim is a game that people love, and it's timeless in that they have no shame about re-releasing it over and over again in different forms in as many devices as they can, because they know that it's a very beloved game and people have a lot of nostalgia for it, and it's just playable enough that even though they're not doing much to it, people still come to it and they'll buy it and play it, because it's just one of those games that you always want to have on your hard drive, just in case you want to pop in there and, you know, eat some cheese, shoot a guard in the leg with a arrow or whatever the hell the thing is now. But I think The Witcher 3 is in that same category where it doesn't feel like it faded away at any point. It's always at the front of conversations, top of mind, and it's always had this kind of presence. It's perennially around. I can look around and see discussions about The Witcher 3 actively happening, or the game being played. You know, it gets referenced in, you know, pieces of writing, in videos, in essays, and Andy Cortez from Kind of Funny has been playing it recently. I've been watching those kind of live streams and VODs. So it's always felt like it never went away. They've done a great job of making that game and keeping it up to date. Like they released the definitive edition or complete edition for Series X and PS5, and the PC version obviously looks great still. And if you chuck some mods in there, it's, you know, competitive with modern games. And also narratively, in terms of gameplay, designed to be timeless, I think. So much so that I think if CD Projekt pulled a Bethesda and just kept on releasing The Witcher 3 for every new generation of hardware, I don't think people will be mad at that. Skyrim has reached a point where people are getting mad at it. I know I am. I had it was a meme for a little while of me at E3 holding up a board with the words "No More Skyrim" on it, which went viral, and some people did not like me saying that. But I think if you ask most people these days, I think they would probably agree, no more Skyrim. But I think The Witcher 3 is there where you can keep re-releasing that game for a while and people will be like, hell yeah, I'll replay The Witcher 3. It's that good. And it's also stylized so it doesn't look old. Skyrim looks old. So I think The Witcher 3 is one of the better eternal games, if you get what I mean. But they announced new DLC for it, Songs of the Past. Really interesting that it's specifically called DLC. I didn't have a chance to go back and look at what they called Blood and Wine, but I'm pretty sure they always referred to it as an expansion, which speaks to the scale and scope of what Songs of the Past perhaps is. It feels like it's going to be much smaller than something like Blood and Wine. But what I really think is interesting about it is it's an opportunity to continue to build momentum or keep momentum around that franchise, which I think after the game came out, there's been something there to keep The Witcher around in like pop culture. After the games came out, it was obviously, there was Gwent for a little bit, and then the Netflix series came out, and that's kind of helped that IP stay relevant and stay popular, and even kind of gain some more interest. People who watched the series and were like, what is this Witcher thing about? They perhaps went to the games. Those are perhaps the easiest, most accessible way to get more Witcher. But then there's also obviously the novelization, the series that it's based on. So I think this is a very smart way of kind of injecting some more life into The Witcher as the Witcher 1 remake is being developed and no doubt will come out at some point in the near future. The co-developers of Songs of the Past working with CDPR are actually the team that are remaking The Witcher 1, which is, I think, a hell of a juggling act, but fair play to you. The thing I'm intrigued about is, what is that DLC going to be? I think there's an opportunity to do two different things, and both are probably going to be welcomed. Songs of the Past kind of speaks to, you know, history happening and experiencing that. So on the one hand, we could get a kind of almost anthology style DLC where you're reliving a few adventures from Geralt's past, and I think everyone will be like hell yeah, as long as, you know, the quality of it is good, people are gonna be like hell yeah. I think what's more potentially exciting is if they use that DLC to kind of create a breadcrumb trail or narrative thread or a connective tissue between the trilogy, the 1, 2, and 3 of Witcher, and The Witcher 4, which was announced. What we know about it basically is it's a Ciri game. That's not to say Geralt's not in it at all, but primarily it's a Ciri game. She's the focus of it, which is a big departure for CDPR and The Witcher. Geralt is obviously a character that's beloved, so I'm sure people will welcome Ciri as a main character because they've spent a lot of time with her, and it's kind of the natural evolution of that character. She's been set up to be the next Witcher for a really long time. But I think there's an opportunity here for them to really make it a little more impactful by going back and laying the foundations for The Witcher 4. I think of it as, imagine if years and years ago, in events that weren't depicted until the DLC came out, you know, Geralt went on a quest, had a hunt, encountered a big bad that he couldn't deal with and failed to kind of vanquish. And now in The Witcher 4, it's coming back and it's now Ciri's problem. Then you know that, oh, when I played the DLC, Songs of the Past, it ended in this way that indicated this lad jumped through a portal and was like, haha, I'll be back in 3 games time or something like that. So that could be one element of it. Or it could be like, you know, Geralt, cool dude, did his thing, saved the day, but actually there was more to it, and now it's Ciri's turn to pick up where he left off and figure stuff out. So I think there's a really cool opportunity there to create that bridge between the games. And also it kind of forces you to pay more attention to what exists out there for The Witcher, which means when the remake of the first game comes about, you've got more of a incentive to go and play those if you haven't played them before, because you know that you've been set up and you've been primed by looking at the history of Geralt and playing through old things in his life. So naturally you'll want to go back and play the oldest thing in his video game life, which is the first game remade for modern consoles and hardware and that kind of stuff. So I think it's a very smart way of juicing the IP, the franchise, and also laying the groundwork for something cool to happen in the future. I would really love for that to be kind of like the exciting oh snap, this is why you need to find Geralt now and chat to him, because this thing that he biffed years ago is back and it's way worse than the Wild Hunt, and she needs to figure it out, but she needs to figure out what Geralt figured out, and the only way to do that is by going to chat to him. What is he up to? Playing Gwent in his underwear. Beer belly. I think it's cool, really, really cool. I'm excited. I'm excited because other than the initial release phase of Cyberpunk, CDPR has a excellent track record of making games that are good, or ensuring that games that perhaps aren't meeting the standards that people want or they want are pushed or worked on until they reach that standard, which is where Cyberpunk got to. But yeah, very, very exciting. I'm sure when it comes out, it's going to be decent. Baseline, they make good games, and that's exciting for a lot of Witcher fans. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Exciting times for video games and The Witcher 3 fans and fans of Doug Cockle. I hope Doug Cockle is back. You don't bring back Geralt. You don't do more Geralt without Doug Cockle. Who else is going to say Winds Howling in that way? No one. No one can do it. Anyways, thank you for watching. It's been weird. I haven't played very many games, which is that. Do I need to give up my like gamer badge and gun? It's been like 2 weeks since I played games properly, but I don't know. Let me know if I need to give up my badge and gun. Because of the move, I've not had a chance to dig it into First Light, which I was very excited about, but just haven't had an opportunity. So, and then I'm off to LA very, very soon for Summer Game Fest. So basically, I've got to, now that I've set up some stuff that I can actually access video games again, I'm gonna have to poop socket if I want to finish that game ASAP without being overwhelmed by FOMO when I get to Summer Game Fest and everyone's like, oh, did you play Bond? It rules, or whatever it may be. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. I'm going to try and do a video during Summer Game Fest, but it does get busy, so I want to get back on track with releasing regular videos. I've missed 1 week. That's enough for me to miss. And I'm sure the algorithm's looking at me and being like, you scumbag, you're done. You weren't even popping and you're less popping now. Anyways, while you're here, please do subscribe. Hit the like button, share if you can, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Peace.